All right, I think we are good. Have should should be around. This should be good, right? It's always perfect timing, right? Like having a plane just show up. Hello, everyone. My name is Max Aaron James. I almost said this is a review because I've been so used to making movie reviews, which are on my other channel, by the way. Check it out. I am not. I won't say I'm lazy. I could be lazy, but I just lack motivation and a lot of times discipline. Discipline more than anything. I have a list, like a decent list of things I've thought about to record, ideas I wanted to vlog about, and stuff like that. I will go back to the list. I'll erase some things because I'm no longer interested in it, or I feel it's not as interesting as I thought at the time, or I just don't feel like recording it. I could easily record it on my phone, which oftentimes, I would say most times, I record with my phone because it's decent enough camera, especially for vlogging. You don't need the fancy equipment. But even then, I just don't feel like holding my phone up. And that sounds really lazy. I think a lot of it is just more of just lack of motivation to create a vlog. The biggest thing for me that keeps me is the editing. It's just editing can be time consuming. And so I just don't feel like doing it. Now, with that said, these are not excuses for why I haven't been posting for so long. I just have been focused on other things. I've been assessing my priorities. I've been making these goals, reevaluating myself. I've been trying new things. I've been enjoying the new things I'm doing, which aren't necessarily new, right? I'm doing reviews more often. That's not new. It's more of just I've been focusing on that. I've been doing interviews for the artist, which is also on another channel, Potential Has No Limit. Check it out. I've been writing a lot more and it's been very fun. I'm working on my third series or show, right? My third pilot, and trying to just get these ideas out. I'm working on the second and third episode of my first series that I started writing. I'm working with other writers, more of just ideas and spitballing. I've discussed with a few people about helping them with filming their content and their work. Been asked by one person to direct, another person to be AD, another person to be cinematographer, which I am totally honored to be asked these things. It just feels like a lot of pressure, especially considering I haven't shot or directed anything. The only things I've ever directed are the interviews and these vlogs, which are not the same. Now, as far as the look of it and how the quality of how it looks, of course it could be very similar. And the audio, audio is a huge thing. Audio's like 50% of the experience when just looking at any visual content at face value. As a writer, as a storyteller, I have a job to tell a story that is not only compelling, but that makes sense and provide just enough information for the audience to understand what is going on without force feeding them or giving them too much, while also making sure I'm not taking away so much information and feeling that, oh, you get it. I have to make sure I'm not being redundant or providing unnecessary information when creating my characters. They need a goal, a drive, a flaw. They need obstacles, challenges, something that makes them relatable, or at least a way for the audience to understand them. They do not always have to like them, but I have to make them feel in a way real while also being exaggerated with who they are, because real life, when putting that on paper or even on the screen, can be very boring. Now, I'm not here to teach writing or storytelling. It takes a lot of effort to do that effectively, and I'm not motivated enough to do so. If you want to learn, there are people like Michael Jamin or Shannon E. Johnson, who do great jobs at explaining storytelling. When I first shared my work, my writing, there were a lot of comments, a lot of questions. Characters were too two-dimensional. People didn't understand certain characters. Characters weren't shown enough. Some characters were shown too much. Some scenes felt unnecessary. There were questions of what's the goal, what's going on, who are these people, and so on and so forth. And it was less of critiques on the formatting, because formatting can easily be fixed, so can typos. So those weren't really a big deal. And I think these people, for the most part, the people I share my work with understood that, right? The reason for sharing a lot of your work, for me, is getting an idea of what's missing, what do you not understand, and is what I am wanting to get across getting across. And I got a lot of great feedback, a lot of insight into how I write and understanding what I can do better and what I can improve on. With that said, it takes a lot of moving ego aside, understanding that there's always room for improvement, which can sometimes lead to a lack of progress, especially if you're always trying to improve on something and you stay focused on that thing for so long. With that said, it is easy for me to write something knowing what I know and not taking into account what the audience or the reader may not understand, or that they have not experienced the same stuff I have. And I go back reading my work with the notes in mind, and I work on that stuff. And recently I've met a couple people who have shared their work with me, and I wanted to approach it how people approach my work and wanted to be beneficial with it. To provide notes not on their formatting, even if the formatting is off, not on their typos, even if the typos are off. Because again, typos easily can be fixed with proofreading and just going back and looking at your own work. And formatting, again, could easily be looked up. And if it got down to formatting, that's something I would address. That is something I would address after maybe the second edit, right? Because I want to make sure that you at least have an understanding of your story. Typically, I try to avoid giving a critique of I didn't like this character or this is what I would do. I don't like giving suggestions like that. At least not in the beginning. I would first like to get an idea of their story, let them go on to things. And also, it's not my story. They are not my characters. They're not my goal. It's not my message. It's not my idea. And I feel that if I end up saying what I would do, I'm kind of projecting my own ideas and my own thoughts onto the work, and I do not always see that as helpful. So I think this is circumstantial. Anyway, I try to more so give questions such as what is the goal, what is the purpose, what is the message, if there is one, right? Maybe there is no purpose. This is just another show about nothing like Seinfeld. But I want to know what's the joke, what are you trying to tell people, what are you trying to get across, and how can I tell certain things are happening if it was on the screen. Sometimes we forget that we are telling our own inside jokes or telling a story that is funny in the moment and is not always funny when repeated. I read an incredible script recently by someone very talented, and I was very pleased. I was pleasantly surprised because I did not know what to expect. I actually expected it to be kind of a different tone than what was presented to me. So that was one thing. And then on top of that, some of the best dialogue that I have read. Now, I don't know if that says a lot about the content I've been reading or just how articulate this person is with their dialogue and their characters. Anyway, that was great. Then I read something else by someone else who was adding a lot of qualifiers to me prior to sharing. Oh, this is my first script. Oh, I'm not really wanting to be a writer. This is just an idea I have. This is just a series I want to make. Kind of that stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to go heavy on this person. They seem to either not really care about writing, or they want to do the thing of, hey, I'm not good, so don't go hard on me. I don't know. Anyway, there's another plane. Anyway, I came in with only a few questions, 3 or 4, and expressed that the story that they are putting on paper is a story that they explained in much more detail to me, so I understood what was going on, but I was thinking of it as when this is filmed and presented on the screen, how do we know what's going on, right? The audience is going to ask, what is going on and what is the meaning of this? Or, I don't get it. And that's where their ego came in. or pride. I'm not too sure which it would be. Anyway, I'm here to say whatever art you are, whatever platform you use, whatever creative platform you utilize to express yourself, if you're wanting to share it, just remember that there will be questions for it. Anyway, that was just a tangent, a rant. That's been something that's been on my mind just for a couple weeks because I was surprised at how guarded this person was with their work. And I understand we're all artists. We're fragile with our work. We don't want someone tearing it down, and I get that. And I wouldn't want someone to say something I write is stupid or this is the most ridiculous stuff. I did not call the person's work stupid, and it's not stupid, by the way. I'm giving an example. What I do think is when you're wanting to move up in this ladder and make it move towards this career, potential career at least, of sharing your work and making it something that you want to give to an audience and want it to be, I would say, well received, you got to take notes. Anyway, I'm making this video much longer than it needs to be. Till next time, y'all take care of each other, check up on one another, check up on yourself, and remember, potential has no limit.